Hey guys, so we are here today to talk about Creepshow Art. This situation, the more I look into it, just keeps getting progressively worse and worse, and so I wanted to make a video about it and talk about it because I think she thinks she can get away with this and like thinks that someone's gonna believe her lie one day, and I don't see that happening. Before I get started, subscribe to my channel. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday. This week's off because last week I uploaded 3 videos because I uploaded a full Everything Wrong with Jen Loves review video that ended up being so long I had to split it into 2 videos. So I just was working on that and didn't have a chance to research videos for this week. It's a whole thing. So this week I'm just gonna be uploading this one video. We'll be back to normal next week, but I wanted to talk about this because it's just like, sometimes when drama happens, I can like see from the bad person's perspective why they did what they did. But like in this instance, it's like so evil and maniacal that like, and there's just like, there's no reason for it. So I guess to start off, what happened was there's a website called Lolcow. I've never heard of it before in my life, but I guess you go there. It's kind of like all those like beauty guru drama boards and forums and stuff. You just go there, you talk about YouTubers and YouTube drama, I guess. And so the admins of Lolcow basically came out and said that they found a user who they believe to be Shannon. They matched up her IP address and exposed all of her posts because she had broken their rules. So one of their main rules is that you cannot promote yourself. So you cannot join just to promote yourself on this forum. So they said that Shannon broke that rule because she had posted about her own videos, but like keep in mind she's pretending to be someone else in these comments. And if you don't know that when you own a forum and someone signs up, you can see their IP address. That's just something that admin can see. So they can see all of her IP addresses and you can look up an IP address and see where it is to know if it's that person or not, if you know personal details about them. Now, I'm not sure how they match these IP addresses up with Shannon or Creepshow Art. However, she does basically confirm they are her IPs eventually, so that's neither here nor there. So they exposed all of these posts on Lolcow, and it was a doozy. I will link down below a video from Omnia. She did 2 videos about this. And they go through all of the comments and what they are. If you want to watch her videos are great. I would definitely recommend them down below. But basically, in these comments, she says transphobic things, homophobic things, there's slurs, just like outright mean comments. She basically doxes her own sister, who she has talked about having a horrible relationship with in the past, but like she posts her personal Twitter account on there. She also, it was found that she's shit-talking people that she's literally friends with, like Corpse Husband, who she's talked great about on her channel, D'Angelo Wallace, who she's talked great about with her channel, Ready to Glare, who she's literally friends with. Ready to Glare actually said that Shannon sent her roses to her house 2 weeks before this went down. So really what this does, I think, is kind of make everything you've ever listened to Shannon say come into question. You know, my best friend was like, I'm so shocked by this because I listen to her all the time and she seems so nice. And basically her whole channel is, you know, it was originally started as an art channel and she would do story times and stuff, and then it kind of evolved into a more drama channel. She does a lot about YouTube drama, and you know, she's usually on the side of the social justice warriors, where she's talking about how these people are doing awful things like David Dobrik and Jake Paul and so many others, and how they should be held accountable for it. So it's just absolutely wild to me to see her have that position online and then go around behind closed doors as anonymous and start saying that all the opposite things. Like she's using slurs, and like, I'm sorry, no one uses slurs just to like to fool people into thinking it's not them. Let me tell you, that's not what someone who doesn't use slurs would do, which is just kind of proof that she uses these probably in her personal life. And also the fact that she's like friends with people and then shit-talking them to like complete strangers on the internet is wild to me. It just really shows like I said in the beginning of this video, like I see no rhyme or reason for it. Like she has clout, she has followers, she's making money online. What is the purpose of doing this other than having some deep-rooted issues with yourself and having serious insecurity issues? Because like you are in circles with these YouTubers who are like famous, not famous, but like online famous, and like you have all this clout, you have all these followers, you have a fan base, you have people eating up every word you're saying, like you have everything that many YouTubers want, and then you turn around behind closed doors and do this shit. It just shows that like the persona she put forward is completely fake. And I watched Smokey Glow's video about it this morning, and she was like, it makes me call into question every conversation I've ever had with her. She's like, we talked about anxiety and mental health issues, and it's like, was that real? Was she telling me the truth, or was she just lying? And like, you'll never know at this point. So when this all came out, Shannon posted a story where she basically said that she's posted a video before saying she has a stalker. And so she basically started saying that it was her stalker who's named Amy, and that Amy was spoofing her IP address in order to pretend to be her. And some people, originally Ready to Glare like posted backing her up, and people were like behind her. But then like, when you stop and think about that, I have two questions. First of all, why did you have this excuse locked and loaded and ready to go? If this had come out and you had no idea about it, you would be shocked and confused, and you would say, guys, I have no fucking idea what's going on. This isn't me, and I don't know why it's my IP address, or why this is this, or why that is that. I have no idea, but I just know it's not me, and I have no idea how to prove it, is how you would kind of start this. But she immediately had an excuse locked and loaded and ready to go about her stalker. And then my second question is, your excuse makes no sense. Let's say I'm Amy, I'm her stalker. You're telling me that I created an account on Lolcow that has no link to you outward facing. Like nobody other than the admin who can see my IP could ever tell it was you. I started posting hateful things about your friends, about other YouTubers. I'm using slurs, I'm using transphobic language and this hateful language. And then I'm doing all that for what? In hopes that, I believe these comments were over at least 3 years, but I also heard it was over 7 years. So I'm supposed to believe that your stalker did this over the span of 3 to 7 years in the hopes of you getting exposed, in the hopes that someone would find out they had broken a community guideline and then they outed you for it. Like, it just makes no sense. This is not what stalkers do. They will harass you online, and I will talk about the kind of harassment that happens online in a second. And they will do all sorts of shady shit, but this is just not something a stalker would do. This is like such a weird thing, because the odds of this coming out are like slim to none. So then basically everyone came out against her and said this makes no fucking sense. So then she was like, I'm gonna leave the internet basically and my channel until I can prove my innocence, which basically means she's never gonna come back. I don't think she could ever come back from this. There's no excuse for this. And then yesterday, Emily Artful posted a video that was honestly heartbreaking and really shows Shannon for who she truly is. Now, I have to say, everything I'm saying in this video is alleged. It's allegedly Shannon's posts, and this is allegedly what Shannon did to Emily Artful, but I 1000% stand behind Emily Artful and believe what she said. Her story was too, like, when you're telling a story, the minute details she tells that like are impactful to her, but like a normal person who was lying would leave out, is very clear that this is real. And like, while she's telling this story, you can hear her like holding back tears and like sniffling, because this is so traumatic to her, because these people have harassed her online. So basically what happened was Emily Artful was dating this guy named Anthony. They had a toxic relationship. Emily Artful is in recovery. She said she used to abuse drugs, specifically I believe heroin. So she was in a relationship with him. They kind of stopped dating, and then they were like being flirtatious. And then she found out later that Creepshow Art, Shannon, is now apparently married to Anthony. Before she found out they were married, Emily Artful started her channel online and started getting messages about Creepshow Art. Emily Artful started her channel first, and she created a series called Sketchbook Story Times that Creepshow Art then started doing, which is like, okay, this is your husband and or boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, so it's kind of weird that you're copying her. But Emily didn't know that this was Shannon, that Shannon was dating Anthony. She just thought she was another YouTuber online. They chatted a little bit, And then Emily followed her, and then Emily said it wasn't until like a year later that Creepshow Art posted a picture that she had drawn that looked like Anthony, and she saw that he was tagged in it and that they were dating, and she immediately unfollowed Creepshow Art. And during all of this time, Anthony had been harassing and stalking Emily. So much so that she said he crawled into her window one night and RAPE'd her. When they were having a flirtatious relationship, she said she was completely intoxicated and high off of heroin, so there was absolutely no way that she could consent, but that he snuck into her room and did that anyways. She believes that he may have already been dating Shannon at the time, because there were some hateful comments left on her YouTube about her cheating, or like breaking up a relationship, or like fucking around with a married man or something, that Shannon does believe, or that Emily does believe came from Shannon on her channels. Because what's come out from this is that while Anthony has created multiple accounts and had started stalking Emily, Shannon came into the picture with Anthony, and she believes that she kind of joined on as a sidekick, and what they both did was create what is called sock puppet accounts, or sock accounts. Sock puppet accounts are basically just fake accounts you create to do anonymous shit online. So it's just, you know when you see bot accounts online that have no followers and no subscribers, or no followers and like no tweets, or like no followers and no one follows them, and then they're like posting pro-Trump shit, and you're like, oh, you're clearly a bot. It's like that, but it's a person creating it so that they can do shady shit online. So these sock puppet accounts started leaving Emily these hateful comments. So she was getting these weird hateful comments from sock puppet accounts, and then one of her videos went like semi-viral. It got 200,000 views, and she posted about it on Twitter, and then Anthony basically replied and was like, 2,000 views, or 200,000 views isn't viral, but like, it's like nothing, but like, let me tell you, if one of my videos got 200,000 views, I would be so excited. So like, get fucked, Anthony. Also, I don't see you having a record deal, so shut up. And then she had a sock puppet account message her with screenshots of her social blade, basically being like, you didn't create this. So like, they just started kind of harassing her online and sending her random messages and hateful messages, and she's like, she just knew it was them. Because like, she's like, you get your random ass hate online, of course, but like, it was just so specific, and it would be after certain instances, and it was just like so clearly them. At one point, she even got Snapchats from a company, from a fake account called Kilgore Trout, which is from a Vonnegut book. And like, honestly, if you're like anonymous personality that's from a Vonnegut book, you're like so pretentious, I already know. And like, it's like showing pictures of her town and saying she's there, and they start planting these seeds that like the person who's stalking her isn't them, by saying that they're underage, because she's like, are you in my town? And she's like terrified. Like, could you imagine if somebody that you was stalking you and you didn't know who it was, and they start sending you pictures of like your neighborhood? Hell to the fucking no. She was like, I was terrified, I was afraid they were gonna come hurt me. And you know, they said in that section, they basically were like, oh no, I didn't drive here, my parents drove me here. So like, alluding to the person being underage, so that like, it doesn't look like it's them. But she's like, I didn't believe it for a second, I knew it was them. And like, in these Snapchats, like I said, he's pretentious. He's like making fun of her content and saying her art isn't good enough because she like makes Mother's Day cards. Like, I hate him. And keep in mind, this went on for 8 to 10 years. They're creating sock puppet accounts that just harass her and post random mean shit in her comments. And she said in the beginning she would just delete them because she was so done with them. But like, as it kept happening and more stuff happened, she contacted the police and a lawyer, and they told her to start taking screenshots. So if you watch the video, which I highly recommend, it's 2 hours long, but it's very important. She has screenshots for fucking everything. So there is no way that she is lying about this. Like, this is a serious story. She also even convinced some of these sock puppet accounts to click a link that had an IP tracker in it, and the IP was linked to cities that she knew that Anthony and Shannon were living in, which just further confirmed that this was them. And the most convincing evidence in this is that eventually Emily confronts Shannon about it, and it's basically like, I know this is you and Anthony, I need you guys to stop, I'm going to a lawyer, I'm getting a restraining order, blah, 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 blah. Shannon, of course, denies it, and in the messages, she's so fucking manipulative. Again, I highly recommend you watch the video. She's so manipulative, and she uses personal instances. I don't know what the instance was, but she basically brings up, it's either like depression and suicidal ideation or like sexual assault. I can tell just by like the way that she's like, as someone who's been through this, I totally understand. And then immediately, like, Emily is an empathetic, compassionate person, and she's like, I immediately start to soften and like say like, I'm so sorry, I understand, and like basically Shannon is using this to manipulate Emily, and it works, but at the same time, they kind of come to the agreement that there's gonna be a restraining order. That way, if it is them, it's fixed, and if it's not them, it doesn't matter because they don't live near each other. And then immediately after that conversation, she stops getting stalked. The messages stop, the random shit stops, she stops getting stalked. And I'm sorry, like if that's not evidence enough that they knew she was finally had enough and she was going to the police and they didn't want to get caught, so they stopped, I don't know what is. Even further to that, in the messages, Shannon mentions a filter account, and then kind of, I think it was like weeks or months later, someone by the name of Brita Filter, which like, Brita Filter, like my water? What a name. Messages Emily to say like, oh, I found all this information about you on my brother's computer. He's 15. So the stalking had been going on for 5 years at this point. And she said her brother is 15, has been stalking again. Remember, they planted the seeds that she was underage, that the stalker was underage previously. And like he found all this stuff on his computer, and like we think he got, oh yeah, they also got her fired from jobs. Like the Brita Filter says like, oh, my brother got you fired from jobs. He has like evidence of it and stuff. And I just want you to know that I've spoken to my parents and he's gonna get help and this is gonna stop. Which again, conveniently happens after she tells Shannon she's going to the police. Suddenly this girl, Brita Filter, comes to her and like has all this information, and she starts like listing off all of the things she had, and Shannon said, or Emily says like, this is stuff that I didn't even know they had. And to me it reads like, she said it reads like them reminding me of all the things they have, like a video of me high off heroin in the bathtub naked. They have pictures of her that she has sent to Anthony throughout the years, including ones where she's underage. And it just kind of read as like a list of things that we have and we could expose you for. But also, this is Brita Filter's brother and he's gonna get help for it. Except that you're trying to tell me that a 10-year-old did this because it's been going on for 5 years. So at 10 years old, he became obsessed with Emily. And she basically was like, I know this is you, Anthony. This is absolutely ridiculous. I know it's you. She was like, okay, Brita Filter, get on a FaceTime call with me or a Snapchat or something. I need proof that this is real because I've been through too much, which like I totally don't blame her for not believing people, but they refuse, of course. And now Emily decided to tell her story, and her story is awful. And like, I'm just scratching the surface here. I can only imagine what 8 years of this would do to somebody. Like, just having hateful comments and having a stalker and having people send you creepy Snapchats and like all of this shit, and having them hold these images and stuff of you over your head, like just honestly disgusting. And like I said with the leaked Lolcow messages, it's just further proof that like there is something wrong with Creepshow Art, Shannon. She is disturbed and evil, and like I said, there's no reason for this. This is all so unnecessary. Like, you really got off on torturing a girl because what? She was your husband's ex? Because she once said you had a bad voice? Like, Emily owns up to the fact that when she was on drugs, she obviously wasn't the best person, but what the fuck do you expect? She was on drugs. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you get to stalk her and harass her while she's just trying to get her life back together. And that kind of makes this all worse because she was in rehab, she was trying to, like, you know, in recovery, trying to get her life back together, and then all of this stuff starts happening and she's being tortured emotionally and psychologically, and it's just like, it's disgusting. And I hope Creepshow Art never tries to come back to the internet. And I'm posting this video because I want everyone to understand that Emily is telling the truth, and I fully believe her, and that Creepshow Art is a creep, shockingly enough. So, oh, also, did you know that Creepshow Art doesn't use her own art in her commentary videos? That's just another mind-blowing part about how Creepshow Art is just fake. Apparently she like says it gives other artists recognition, but like I don't think I've ever seen her cite another artist. I'm not subscribed to her. I don't watch a lot of her videos, but I've seen her videos before, and I am shook by all of this. My heart goes out to Emily. I can't believe she had to endure this. I really hope that now that she's been able to put her story public, and now that people are seeing what Shannon is really like, that she will get a crumb of justice or at least some fucking peace in her life, because if she deserves anything, it's that. She deserves to be able to live her life in peace without the threat of someone lurking around the corner, or without the fear of someone stalking her, like they're gonna hurt her. Anthony and Shannon need to both get help, and they need to leave everyone else the fuck alone and go off the internet forever. So that is everything I have to say today. Let me know down below what you guys think of this whole situation. Had you heard of it before? Have you watched the other videos on it? Let me know down below. It's just a completely fucked up situation, and I cannot believe that someone went through all of this, that Emily went through all of this, and that Creepshow Art did all of this for, like, what? The sick enjoyment of being evil? Like, what the fuck? So thank you guys for watching today. Let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.